funny.
Yeah.
Sewer project, got nobody, and we're like, whatever.
Sidewalk.
Sidewalk.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
ever walk there, I remember, it's been a while since our kids went there, but you would always kind of, yeah, you gotta kind of walk down the road.
Yeah.
And now you're like, cause it really wasn't. much
Sewer
of a
project, got nobody, and we're like, whatever. What was that?
Not a good deal.
I wasn't talking.
Oh, it's delayed. It's what you said a couple seconds ago.
All right, well, it's 6:30. Do we have any guests with us online that you can tell at this point?
Not yet.
All right, okay, we will begin our meeting, so I'll call our meeting to order. Thank you again for delaying from last week. I appreciate the flexibility. And Georgia promised we'd have some cutting, fresh information today if we waited, so we'll see if she delivers on that or not. Oh, she said she's not. Well, that's all right. That's all right. Still works out okay. We're all here. First order of business is the August 25th meeting minutes, which we need to take a minute and review a little closer than we normally do.
Flip the next page. I gave that to everybody, so you can read the
Email.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, so we met in May or April or May. We voted to put the balance of the current funds from the RDC into the sewer project. And then in reviewing the meeting minutes, I realized that we didn't get first and second. We didn't quite get it written down the way that I thought would be, we could be certain. So last meeting, we decided we would take another vote to make it and make it official. But then the way that Bill captured the minutes isn't exactly the way that I thought it was. So today we're going to take it and we're going to try a third time. Whatever we come up with this time will be the way it is. So we are referring to the under the Regional Sewer Project Commission discussed financial contributions to the project, including TIF revenue. Two current sources of revenue are available: commission, local income, and the TIF income. Community Commission provide all current and future revenue available to Regional Development Commission to the bond issue necessary to regional sewer projects, seconded by Bill and motion. My understanding of that conversation was that we said that we would contribute money to the sewer project, but the way this is worded looks like all current and future. Future implies that then we have just given away all control of any TIF money forevermore, because that's what it says. All current and future TIF money. So now Bill has added this. What do you got here, Bill? I'll let you read it.
No, that's just your email to me.
Okay, so
I did just said everybody good. The big issue has got to be, you can do whatever you want after about 6 years if this other stuff happens. Until then, there's just no way that you can do anything but put 100% in. Because as soon as you start paying out any of this, you're gonna have to pay $400,000 a year. And if it isn't generated by economic development and or TIF, it becomes debt to the rest of the sewer, which means you're gonna have substantial increases in everybody's sewer rates.
So I understand that, but doesn't the town also have, I mean, if nothing is done to the current sewer, the town's gonna have to maintain the sewer for the next 6 years. So certainly there's some money that the town has set aside for sewer. And that the
But
TIF
not-
isn't responsible for all of it.
But not to build the original sewer project. They have no ability in any kind of funds that they have now to pay that kind of money.
No, I understand that, but if something happens to sewer, then what's the town gonna do? So no development, just something happens to sewer, what's the town gonna do?
Well, they can cover repairs,
Okay,
but you're talking major expansion.
alright. Okay. Before I get my thoughts, other thoughts?
This is unclear, so you're talking capital expense versus just repairs?
Yes,
And obviously, they don't cover it, then the people who have sewers have to cover the cost of it. Which
what?
Which some of those people maybe in some of the new places maybe could cover some of the cost of it.
Have we heard from UMC or whatever that is from
Yeah, why don't you explain where we're at?
Well, we ought to do the minutes first.
Well, this is, well, it's all related, man, so let's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there was a meeting with the leadership of UMH/WIZET. And no decision was made, but they are still generally favorable to going ahead with them providing a substantial amount towards the construction. Where it hangs up at the moment is how it gets paid. So now we have all of the players in line. We have a financial consultant, we have a contractor for the expansion project, we have UMH in general agreement that they're gonna pay for a portion of it, but we haven't advised them how they're gonna be requested to pay their portion in. And all of this would be culminating in probably January. I thought they said end of December, 1st of January, now it's January, kind of February. When they get guaranteed maximum prices for the 3 phases of the regional project. So the first 2 phases are UMH exclusively, and those will come as quickly as they can get the information together. And then we will have an agreement struck with UMH to pay for those. And my hope is that their bond or their payment will cover phase 1 and phase 2, and what the TIF would contribute to would come later in 2026 for phase 3. That's how I would like to see it play out, but we're still in the development phase for all those agreements.
Okay, so the bottom line is we still don't know how much it's gonna cost. We know what the total potentially is, but we know who's gonna pay.
Bill calculated what we were, based on the engineer's estimates. Bill calculated what it would take to. That was 400,000.
An 8 million at 4.6 is 400,000.
So is that before or after UMH?
That's after.
That's after, that's accepting that UMH is gonna go to the max of what we think they should do.
Okay. And then if I build a hotel and I pay a tap fee, whatever you call it, where does that money go?
That goes to the utilities operating the tap fees,
Mhm.
but there's another fee.
Yeah.
Called a,
And what is utilities operating use that for?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like an extension,
there's a fee that the developer pays.
a
And it's
portion
got-
of
it's
whatever
got-
it takes to provide the capacity they need,
Right now, it's.
more than just a tap on.
It's a price per acre. Which I don't understand how they get a per acre price when it's all based on flow, how much of the capacity are you gonna use, I think.
How many people?
That is interesting, because you think it would be more about density, like,
Yeah,
I got this hotel with
Yeah,
300 people, but I got this other place that only has a couple bathrooms.
yeah.
And then, so you could actually pay more.
So you could have a truck stop with just restrooms and a restaurant. And
You have a hotel where every
have
hotel
4
room
or
has a
5 acres.
I guess they figure the higher the density, the more they're gonna contribute through operating, like fees.
Mm.
So,
Alright, so let's
Anyway.
bring the meeting minutes to a close, and this is what I propose. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I am not comfortable and I will not vote yes for. All current and future revenue. I would say yes to. The current revenue and then a amendment that says something like. Until a term and a future point of what that
Up-
future amount would
up
be
to-
or.
400,000.
Yeah, or something like that, so, cause the way this is worded, and someone could go back to these minutes and say, well, you guys said it all goes to sewer.
What if you just voted for this year and every year you vote?
Man, I think the
Or is
bond,
just
that would
too
be
much?
hard.
So the bond, once
Yeah.
the bond is set, if you limit it to the bond, then whatever the bond is, it would be up to. That bond amount, and then anything beyond that, the bond people are gonna wanna see. Commitment to pay the bond, so I've got money set aside. for a couple years until the TIF would get going. But then after that, they would want a commitment that the TIF revenue from that development would be allocated to the bond.
So I'm comfortable with something that says, and Scott, you get the joy of trying to get this, the
No, George-
third try.
George's got it.
Perfect.
So I'm comfortable with saying, find the line again. Provide all current revenue up to the unmet portion of the bond. I say unmet because we don't know how much UMH is gonna pay, there's a lot of unknowns, so. I'm not gonna, don't think we put in numbers, if we unmet portion of the bond, so if it ends up being 350, then we would put up to 350. Unless the town ends up putting, unless there's other fees that end up offsetting some of it. And then that way, it says all the money, but it doesn't imply all the money forevermore. Which is how I read it when I first read it.
Does that cover what we need? In perpetuity, instead of being in perpetuity, it's.
Say it, Bill, come on.
Just real quick, just make sure I'm clear. So UMH is the ownership / management group for Woods Edge, correct?
Yes,
And all this has to be done so they can continue to operate their property. So why would there even be any hesitation whatsoever, right?
That's for expansion.
Well-
Well, that's for their part, and that's why,
That's phase one, right?
that's phase
One
one,
and two.
and two.
And that's part of this bond?
Well,
no,
we haven't,
not, the 400,000 says. You're gonna borrow 8 million, and that's the remainder that it takes to get the TIF district functional with our sewer system.
Right.
So
But the expansion is so these guys could be tapped into this, correct? Because
right,
the lift station is a problem and everything else.
so think of the expansion, total project is 13 million, phase 1 and 2, 5 million.
Okay.
And that would be what we would arrange for payments from UMH.
Okay.
And that's so they can.
They're covered, so, okay.
But
That,
then the 8 million is so that we can build hotels.
I was hearing hesitation about them, how much they want to put in. I'm like,
But they're not arguing about the 5 million,
And-
right? There's no
and-
doubt that they're willing to pay the 5
We
million.
think,
And we're not really, tonight's discussion is not really about how much it's gonna cost. Tonight's discussion is simply this, in governance, I am never willing to tie the hands of the future me. And I think the way this is worked ties the hands of future me, and then I have to come back and go to this down and say, well, you know what, actually, that's not what we meant. I think we just need to say, then we put a cap on, it. We can say that it's all current TIF revenue up to the unmet portion. I say the unmet because we don't know exactly what the number is gonna be at the unmet portion of the sewer. And when that bond is covered either by other means or by it's done, then we don't have to put more money into
You
it.
could specify the Gateway Regional Sewer Project, because that would differentiate it from any other project that might, at some point, the plant will have to be expanded if we actually get all of that development that we could possibly imagine, then the
Right.
plant will need an expansion, so there'll be multiple bonds going on at the same time, but this one you could define it as the Gateway Regional Sewer.
the way this game plays out is. You hire a financial consultant. And they're gonna say, well, your TIF isn't happening yet, and maybe it will, and maybe it won't. So I'm gonna set a fee schedule to the rest of the sewer area at this rate. That rate goes down as your TIF money goes up. But if we don't say they're gonna make a substantial contribution to it. It's gonna go public that your sewer rates are going up 40%.
Well, I'm not saying we're not gonna make a substantial contribution to it, I'm just saying we're not gonna tie it up forever into the future. I'm saying there's a limit,
Okay.
there's a point where it ends. So if this town decides, hey, you know what, we need to build more sewer, hey, and you guys already said all your sewer money, all your TIF money goes to sewer, so we're all set. That doesn't ride well. I think that has to come back to the RDC, and RDC has to look at it again. And say, yeah, okay, it still makes sense, sewer still something, that's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you in any point other than I think there should be a end point to what our.
You're saying just don't have it be in perpetuity, but they still need to recoup their initial investment, which should make complete sense,
Yeah,
so.
so then whenever that happens, then it's not in here that we said all money goes to sewer forevermore. That's all. That's my only dispute to what's written.
So what's the official wording to make that, and that sound?
You guys are typing this out.
But it sounds like you're trying to say the same thing, but it doesn't
I-
sound like the same thing.
Well. No, I'm not saying the same thing. I'd put a limit on 6 years. I don't care what you do after 6 years. But the first 6 years, I think you gotta have 100%.
So we're saying
Well-
all TIF money for 6 years has to be put into the gateway. No,
Can't say 6 years, what if it doesn't develop? What if you don't get revenue? In 6, I mean, that's one of the big things about the town council right now, they're saying, hey, it's been 25 years, nothing developed. What makes us think it's gonna happen in the next 2? That's a big concern on them.
I
But
don't disagree.
we have enough. There's enough activity with the real estate agents. That if we fix this one issue about people moving in. To buy that property. There's a couple issues, this is one of them, if we fix them, then people will develop, I believe.
there's a way to word it to cover 6 years, but if it doesn't happen, that it
Well,
basically.
you can always change your motion.
I would prefer, speaking from the financial side of it, the way that it says. We're gonna cover the costs of the bond. Up to the unmet portion of the bond. And then after that, you can decide if you wanna put more money into infrastructure or if you wanna.
So
Right.
here's,
Put a big sign out that says Gateway Park, I mean, I don't know.
here's the other question then, this is where so. Bond's 8 million. Say the TIF goes wacko, and now we're getting $1 million a year. So are we paying the $400,000? I just say, theoretically, so then are we paying the $400,000 of the annual fee, or now are we paying the bond back at $1 million a year?
The 400,000 is amortized over 25 years.
I understand that, but you can pay a loan off early. You don't pay bonds off early?
Not, it depends on what
Well, it
happens.
depends on what else you have to spend your money on right then, right?
See, that's my point is, I think as an RDC. I would say we would probably want to pay the 400,000, I'd pay up to that. But then if we have 600,000, then the 200,000 we ought to be using for, potentially for something else.
And that's
Well,
what.
That would exceed the amount of the bond.
So then I think the motion's to say something about not to exceed the amount of the bond.
Well, George is saying the unmet portion,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we're on the same place. I think we say. Provide all current revenue available to the Regional Development Commission up to the unmet portion of the annual bond payment. And then what we're saying is that to your finance people, say any money that TIP has for the next. However long it takes, we will put towards it, but if we go over the 400,000 in a year. Then that money we could use for something else that might be for the town's benefit. That makes sense?
Yeah, okay,
You like that?
no, but I accept it.
So you're gonna word this? Is this a?
I think I just worded it.
Yeah, but at the time.
Someone got to write it down before I forget.
At the time the revenue creeps over the 400,000 or whatever it turns out to be. Then the RDC can decide what to do with that money. Cause there may be something else on the table that really needs to be.
Well, that's all I'm saying. We look at participants, there's one participant.
No, that's us.
Yeah, if there's one participant.
No, that's us.
Yeah,
We are the participants.
So you're saying if we had extra money and nowhere else to spend it, you could do an additional vote if you wanted to put it towards it, or
Well, right, I mean,
Do
if,
anything
right,
with
if
it.
you had extra money and we had nothing else to do, you could still pay it, but I just wouldn't want. The assumption to be that if we got to that point, then we. Right, cause I think it ties your hands of what else you might do, you know, there might be something else we could do that's beneficial to the town. Or that's beneficial to the project that doesn't involve the sewer, that's all. I hope we have that problem,
Well,
How much are we anticipating the TIF to generate this year anyway?
went down.
yeah, we'll be right at about 85.
That much? Okay.
Yeah.
But significant shortfall from the 400,000.
Oh,
Yeah, it'll be a while before we get to 400,000, yeah.
So. Who pays for the gap?
Economic development.
Okay,
The local income tax creates for next year $120,000 of that goes to economic development to the battleground. So that's a constant source, and it tends to creep up about 3 to 5% per year.
and this is typically county economic development?
No, here.
Just here.
Counties and cities and towns receive local income tax. For economic development,
Right.
townships don't,
Right.
but. We've got banked operating balances that can cover us for a good bit. The big liability is how long it takes to generate for. As the land changes, you'll pick up more revenue.
Sure.
That we actually, the Quick Trips land got assessed high. And that hit the books and they paid on 1 year of that, and then they appealed it. And the county lowered the assessment. So we actually will get more in 25 than we will get in 26.
But we'll have a couple of years to bank that
Right,
toward the payment.
right. So RDC revenue will commit up to the unmet portion. So, help me out here, Mike?
Yeah, I'm writing it down.
Thank you. You slide it my way, I'll throw it in here.
Oh,
Alright, so this is what I have.
And we're calling it real quick, I mean, interrupt, this is an amendment to our operating agreement?
Amendment to the previous minutes.
Okay, that's all it is.
So this is what I have. Commission will provide all current revenue available to the RDC to the bond issue necessary for the regional sewer project of the unmet portion of the annual bond payment.
Is it the regional or is it the gateway?
It's a gateway regional sewer.
Yeah.
So
project.
just get, okay.
Slide that my way.
Yeah,
Okay.
portion of the next payment. And then do we want to say until bond is,
well, we're gonna expire before the bond's over.
right, okay. So is that, so one more time,
That's legislation.
third time to John, commission will provide all current revenue. Available to the RDC to the bond issue necessary for the Gateway Regional Sewer Project. Of the unmet portion of the annual bond payment. So if we get to 400,000 and that's what the bond payment is, and we're saying all 400,000 more we get will go to it. But if we get 600,000.
Yep.
We'll stay in the 200,000 more, that's basically what we're saying.
Yep,
So
thanks
that's,
for clarifying.
go ahead and have your motion, because then I have another thought for you.
I
Oh.
second it.
Mhm.
I second.
Okay, did I first it, I guess, and so
Yes.
can I do that as a
You
friend?
read it and we
Yes,
Okay.
you stepped down this chair and made it.
Alright, so actually somebody else make it first. Somebody make a motion, so make us,
So let's read it.
just, you can just say what motion I made.
All right, we make a motion to take all the revenue.
Yeah, just say what he said before, just say that, you don't have to, you don't have to say it again.
As he said before.
He's,
That's-
now, second, alright,
Perfect.
all in favor,
Uh,
anybody opposed? Alright, I appreciate that conversation, because I do think that the way I read it, to me, it ties our hands, and I just don't want our hands tied. I don't plan on being in this seat forever,
Well-
and when this bond ends, I know I won't be in the seat.
I think it's smart because look what happened with the easements and the covenants up in the field is why we're sitting here in the first place, right?
Yeah,
All right,
So that's a smart move.
all right, so,
So.
well, that didn't finish
do you
that
want the
conversation,
group
but,
to address Economic development.
I mean, it comes down to it, everything, we just committed everything we've raised for the next, who knows how long,
Need to
go to the
address
sewer.
needs of economic
No.
development.
But what bothers me, and this is the side of it, is that
Well,
town has this economic development. It doesn't come out except for when we say no to something, and then suddenly there's $120,000 economic development. Some of that money is reasonable in given years to go to the sewer. Unless the town has some other economic development project that they're working on that it should be, could go to.
Town hall.
Well,
Well, and the RDC can help town hall, I mean, that's the thing.
but
That's-
we've been putting that away. To satisfy the first couple of years of this.
Right, so,
That's
and
been-
then the hope is that by year 2 or 3, we've gotten enough that we can at least pay a year's worth. I mean, if we save it $85,000 a year.
Or 3/4 of it a year.
Yeah, and, you know, eventually we'll have enough. Well, we've just voted that we won't be able to spend our money on anything else. So any money we get, we just voted, and we have no control over it, it goes to the sewer.
so if someone comes.
No reason for us to
Hey,
meet.
for our development, give us money, we're like, no.
No reason for us to meet. Yep, that's it.
Gateway Regional.
Georgia?
the economic development money is part of your. I mean, if you see something that's dire, you can use the economic development money. I have been using economic development to pay the attorney fees. Because we have to keep up with those until we get the bond. And the engineers are holding off until we get the bond to pay their costs. So I'm trying not to pay the engineers, but I am paying the attorneys so that we've got.
See, but you're saying you,
The town.
but you
Well,
town, I don't work, I don't
Well,
represent.
me as the clerk has to pay the bills that are coming in for the Gateway project. The economic development is one of the funds that you may use. So even though you've obligated TIF, there is economic development. And we're gonna try to funnel it to make up for what TIF isn't supplying, but
Well, I understand that, but from a governance standpoint, you're saying you is not. It's not this table, it's the town council.
right.
And at the moment, there's no town council member sitting on this, so
But the
that's
town
RDC.
council, once they created the RDC, my understanding is they gave up total control of economic development. So I don't want you to say the town council is gonna use economic development money, because they won't.
So then how is the town, because that's never come to this, we've never voted on anything related to that money.
Yes, you bought the 107 North Railroad Street.
Hmm. Okay,
It had to come past you.
Cause we didn't have money.
so then how much money, since we control that money, how much money has accumulated in the last 8 years since we started meeting? Is if we control it and we have an allocated to spend it other than $107,000 for, or whatever it was for that property, then there should be $500,000 or $600,000 in that account.
So that property is a sore subject with me, but
Well, that wasn't my call, that was somebody else's request for me to say, bring it to this group, but so, right? So
No,
then,
that's-
so then where's the money, where's all that money? Cause it's in the bank account somewhere.
yes. It's earning 4 point whatever.
4.5 something right now. Trust Indiana.
Which isn't bad.
Oh, that's real good.
It's pretty good.
And it's 24 hours in and out, no cost.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's solid.
But it's just for local governments. It's part of the state treasurer's office.
Yeah, that's good, right?
So the first year or two, maybe first year or two, then the money that we haven't been spending for the last 8 years is saved up from there.
Hmm.
And we,
578,000.
make that in minutes. $578,000.
So
And that's in that's in what, economic development?
Yeah.
If,
My estimation is that would get us, if we build the gateway and someone starts building 26, 27, we can last until 28 with that money. Until there's something there to start paying.
So Georgia has shared that the RDC has control over $578,000 in economic development fund from the city, from the town. So, back to what you said before, so we have committed, so now if the hotel people want money, there's no money, there's nothing for us to give them.
Nope.
There's zero. So that might slow down the town's ability to meet their economic
Yeah.
development goals.
They still. When you compare their tax rate here with their tax rate in Lafayette, it's still advantageous for them to build here.
You know? Hopefully that when there's sewer or someplace for all the sewer to go, then they'll agree with that and that'll be fine, but
There'll be a stoplight, there'll be a new store available, there'll be a gas station right there on the corner.
And shovel ready, that's.
Shovel ready.
That's,
There's a place I can tap into and
I mean, you know that, I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
it's-
that's the argument with the council is why are we spending this money, maybe it won't come, but it's.
well, the town's roll of the dice is that. And I don't disagree with Jim, they did that work over 25 years ago and it's still sitting vacant. So the town's roll of the dice is that happens and sewer rates don't go up. Our roll of the dice is that we can get some of that development without any incentives from the RDC. Zero, other than sewer in place, which I know is not nothing, but that's it.
But we're going into a whole new era. Every time I drive down Cowbear, I go, this is gonna be a nightmare. There's gonna be an explosion of development.
I don't disagree with you, and if we don't have sewer, I mean, I'm on record saying that,
And
we don't have
explosion of
sewer.
housing and explosion of people coming into town for what's going on there.
And I live downhill, and I don't want an explosion of, you know what? The sewer system, listening to them talk about it.
We're not gonna be quite as sleepy
Oh,
youngsters as we've been.
yeah. Well, and maybe, and hopefully that's true, we are basically committing that we will help the town build sewer. Both with this $578,000.
I mean, when a plant comes in, the suppliers come with it.
yeah, because they don't want to go far to get the supply. I mean, that's kind of what's happened around here is that they increased Purdue Airport. Bringing the biggest planes for materials and guess what happens? That's real expensive. So then they start building park planes nearby. Might take them a little while. So
Mm.
there's a byproduct of that will come with it.
So one more question, this $570,000. When this money's moved, I mean, if the RDC, I take government seriously. Very seriously, especially when you're talking about something like this with money. So when a decision's made for the money to be moved, who signs off on it?
moved, what does move mean?
Anything happens to the money, it gets put into that fund account, it gets, we decide we're changing the mix of it, who makes that decision?
Takes a vote from us.
Well.
You're saying, let's say the bond
So-
comes through, there's a payment that needs to go to the bond.
We've been saving this money, who decided we've been saving it, because this commission in the last 8 years has never taken a vote to that. The only vote we've taken in relation to that money is to buy that property. That's the only vote we've taken, so
Making sure it doesn't go away,
Hmm,
because we've known this is gonna have to happen for years.
I understand that,
And we've got a
but
whole-
whose decision is it? Whose vote is it if something changes with that money?
Here,
Okay, and so the money's decision was made to save it, Whose vote made that decision?
There was no vote.
Okay,
We just never told the old people they could spend money.
yeah, you
Because
just never
they
told
would
me
not.
I could spend the money.
That's right.
That's right. That makes me very happy.
We,
I don't like deception. I don't like being having half the information that should be available to me. I don't like it at all. And those are things that'll piss me off. It seems to me that if saving this money is this commission's decision, then we should take a vote to that and make it official.
I mean, does that make it official that it is our decision, period?
If it's our decision, then this group should know. I should have known before today, there's $570,000 in the bank.
well, I've told you several times that the local income tax generates 100,000 plus a year.
Yeah, but it was never clear to me that we controlled it. I always thought the town controlled it. If the town's giving the vote to us, then we have a responsibility for $570,000 that we ought to be aware of. So is it our vote? If we today just said, this group today said, hey, we want to spend $570,000 on whatever, do we have the authority to do that?
You'd have to submit a budget
To who?
to the town.
So the town has authority.
No. They. We have to submit a budget through the Department of Local Government Finance as the redevelopment commission. And we just have, we've got the balance there, we've just never put anything in them, was expenses. If you're gonna spend money, then you have to create a budget, has to be approved by the state.
So we're gonna spend money, the RDC has to be approved by the town or the state.
State.
So why do I submit to the town? That's what you said the first time,
Because
It
you're,
goes through the budget process.
from the town
Yep.
to the state. So the town can't spend money without submitting it to the state?
correct.
Is there any other pockets of money that I don't know about?
No,
You're sure?
yes,
You're sure?
Well, all of these are, I mean. I feel bad
There-
that it was not clear,
there's
because at
public
the time that,
information that if there's, there's a gateway that on. You can see the balances of every fund that the town has.
Every fund that the town has, but the funds that the town has, I don't worry about, because the towns have, that's Jim's problem, that's not my
Well,
problem. I don't feel town money.
No, you're actually still part of the town. You can't exist without the town.
Well, I understand that, but I also can't make decisions for the town. I'm not an elected official of the town, I don't have. I have an authority as you all now elected me as the president of this, that's what I have. I don't have anything else, town can pass a budget, doesn't matter, other than I'm a citizen of the town, I don't have any control of that. That's all. Alright, so there's $578,000, we'll move this issue past. That money will pay the first year, part of the second year, we got 120,000, we keep accumulating, so we've got some money. So back to our thing about the RDC. Yes, all the TIF revenue will go to it, but if we're getting $120,000 of economic development every year, that's growing at 3 or 4%, that also can go toward it.
Yeah,
And it would be on us
yeah,
to
it's in my
decide
motions.
if it's on us, if it goes to that.
Yep, that was in the original motion.
Well, it is in that if you know that future revenue includes.
It's
economic
right in the
development.
first paragraph. Read the whole thing.
To current source revenue, bill commission, local income tax. Alright, fair enough, it is there, I see the way you have it written in there, okay. Fair enough. That's on me for not catching that when I read through this first time, or not understanding it. So, all right, very good, very good. Well, that's fine. We got $570,000. It's in, at least the beginning of it's in pretty good shape. First year or two, and if we say get any of these, but back to Greg, to your point, we don't have any. We don't have any leverage with any of those, because our leverage is, sewer. That's our leverage. All right, what else business do we have? Old business, Northgate Development. TIF expense plan recovered, Northgate Development, any updates there?
No, I'm waiting.
Any updates on Quick Trip? I think I'm still waiting on them too, to get stuff fixed for next year.
They're still on hold. And apparently in 2026.
All right, that's all we heard is it would be the construction season next year. Start in fall.
I wonder when we hear about the intersection.
Well, I'm sure that it's making its way through because at the last meeting of town council, the NDOT request was to call both sides of 43 Northgate Drive. They eliminated Northgate Court because the signage was confusing. So that was approved.
Just east and west drives.
Yeah, they said that the addresses would tell people which side it was on. He didn't even say he would make it east and west. It was just Northgate Drive.
And the apartment and the hotel are waiting on us to know on the sewer stuff.
Now, has that intersection and signalization been approved by NDOT? Do we know? It hasn't been.
Well, yeah. that's
Isn't that
why-
the one where we thought that had, and they said,
This was the guy that was ordering the signs for the streets, so I'm pretty sure.
well, that's good. Which means they have the bond for the signalization and all that stuff. Then I will want the bond on all the improvements that are gonna happen, whether it's 2 million or whatever that's gonna take.
So QT's not rolling until spring, maybe, those hotels aren't rolling. And then I haven't heard from the. Corners, I saw him walking the neighborhood the other day with his grandkid, but. So I'll have to circle back up with them. To see if they still wanna. Talk to the neighbors or.
Yeah, that's still a whole thing, isn't it? I mean. When, we don't want them to talk to neighbors too soon, but I mean, sooner or later it's gonna come to the end, right?
Well, and I don't know what, I mean. I don't know what we do with that situation. If I was one of the neighbors, I wouldn't give up, I wouldn't give anything up. Till the last minute, find out what they wanna do, but.
Well, and if they sit on it, I mean. And, cause they're gonna have to grant town easements for, cause I've looked at easements, I've looked at easements through that property. But there are some, because there's an existing easement that, or existing line that goes through there. At some point, hopefully they'll have to grant some official easements to the property. For the official alignment of the new sewer line. Which will do nothing but benefit them because then they'll have a new sewer line and new water. So maybe they're just like, hey, if we do nothing and the town spends all this money, now we have a piece of property we can kind of tout as. It's not shovel ready, but it's, hey, we can tap on and we're not really concerned about capacity at that point.
Who's they,
Orders,
I'm not even
comes
sure
the
they're.
and the realtor, or, I mean, they might just stumble into this, but then go, oh, well, this dollars per acre, which is still ludicrous. May get a little closer to that, but still at the same time, you still have the restrictions and you still have. Someone still has to design roads and design.
They could also bump up what they want per acre.
Well, they go, oh, now I'm gonna
Yeah,
have.
theoretically, if they see the other developing, then their land will. Continue to rise in values.
Yeah,
They're getting worried.
It never goes down.
They're starting to worry about. This is dragging out too long and. They need. One more person. That dies, that's part of this and will never get sold. I spent a good bit of time with Travis having some discussions about things and. They, they're actually getting worried about getting it moved. And they're concerned that Fields isn't doing much to help them.
Yeah, it seems like they ought to. I don't know, it's just, they may have to lower their expectation and just sell it for what they can sell it for. And don't sell it to what they got.
That seems to be the stumbling block, if you're led by someone who's not. Helping.
Well, he had said that he had a deal that they didn't take.
Well, we did a survey on that and I'll tell you, it didn't pop up. So he mentioned it and then I started looking. And I had to dig deep and then finally found the covenants because it wasn't like. When you try to sell something and you know it exists, you need to present it in all its glory, not. Hey, there's this thing that not too many people know about, and if you don't have a 50-year title, I mean, title insurance anymore, they only do like a 10-year search. Used to, when we did Alta, it was, you got the abstract. And of course, it became a way to decrease costs, and what'd you lose? You lost. If I only know what happened in the last 10 years, it's not very much. What's the last 50 years? What's back till was a patent? Now, those become important. I mean, those were really what I liked was having a little patent, and I could look through it and go, oh, this is where it was before this, and now you're just stumbling blindly. Looking for stuff and hopefully you can come across it, so. And we found that and it was like, well, no reason why you're not getting any movement. Oh, yeah, that's right, we've had several people do this, like. Why did you leave with that? So we were kind of blind, and then once you know it. Just battling the pill, so.
So,
Is stumbling block the realtor or the family?
Yes, and well. I've dealt with a lot of clients who. They ask you about stuff. And you have to present it in a way, because you have to look at it from many avenues. Their perception as people who value their property. And you have to look at it from, well, I come from an area that you may not know a lot about. So, and if there's someone else I need to bring involved, like a realtor or somebody who might specialize in that. You need someone else who's gonna be kind of supportive. In this case, I feel like it's just. You have someone leading the charge who may not as versed. Or as. Centered on what's going on. And how important. That property could be, and I mean, you need someone who knows what they're doing. Who knows how to bring people in who can.
I mean, you know what the landmine is, so just blow it up. I mean, like you're saying, all it is a disclosure of the covenants, just be straight up about it up front.
Yeah.
Fix it with the landowners right now. If these guys wanna sell it, you have to spend a little to make more. Cause they're not making, like you said, they're worried about losing it completely, right? So go work something out financially with the 7 houses. Work it into the deal. Even increase the price a little bit and say this is taken care of. Go to them and have them with new covenants that say, hey, here's what, this is your area of expertise.
Yeah, this is what we're gonna do to help protect the value, instead
In
of
writing,
covering this 900-foot.
before you even try and sell.
We're gonna make sure that there's this and.
Yeah.
And then you make it ironclad and it's still as important as it was before, but now. Cause. I think there's probably a lot more deals than we even know about. I know of a couple others that have fallen through. Just in the last, year. Other than love and all that. Not that everybody wants that there, but there are people who are interested. It's just that. They didn't show us all their cards.
Right.
Like if you knew that this was a covenant, you go, that's the problem. So why would you deal with that problem? And there's many ways to deal with that and where you can pay them a little bit of money, but save money in the long run. Right.
and you can have it be, they get their money when it closes.
Right.
They'll pay them upfront.
Mhm.
Well, I think we've hit what we can solve on the evening's occasion. Thank you all for staying the course. Apologize for being a little bit more animated than I normally am. This evening, and apologize if I said anything out of order, but I don't think we have any other business. Everything else is in flux. We're waiting on the sewer to flow.
All right, well, then I move to adjourn.
Second, Meteor.
When's the next meeting?
Oh, that's a good question. That was in advance. Let's see.